I'm Kristen, and this is the Explorer in You podcast. Now, what I've discovered after visiting 5 continents and some amazing places is that the greatest thing standing in your way of seeing the world is what you believe is possible. I believe that travel is for everyone, on any budget, and it doesn't have to be overwhelming. So this podcast is all about unlocking the explorer in you. You'll hear stories from people who will inspire you to set big travel goals and show you how to achieve them. Let's explore. So today's show is just me, and I wanted to talk about how to infuse more meaning into our travels moving forward. So experts are predicting that we'll be mostly back to normal by summer. And what does that mean for our future travels? So this last year has forced, I think, all of us to re-examine our lives and what's really important to us. And for me, it's also made me re-examine how I travel. I've always felt that travel was a gift and I've never taken it for granted. But after this year of literally not being able to go anywhere, I appreciate it that much more. And so I started thinking about how could I create really meaningful and impactful travel experiences. So as we start to come out of shelter in place and vaccinations start to ramp up and we start planning trips again, I think it's a great time for all of us to think about how we can approach travel differently. So on this show, I want to talk about how we can be more intentional when planning our next vacations and how we can experience a deeper level of connection with the places that we visit and the people we meet and the people we're traveling with. So I came up with some questions to help you get specific about what you want from your next travel experience. So I'll share those questions with you and also some ideas for ways that you can have meaningful travel experiences. So as usual, setting an intention and getting clear on your goals is a great way to start. So think about what you want to get out of your next trip and what it really looks like. And for some, it may be spending time with family that you haven't seen in months. And for others, it might look like having new experiences and breaking up that monotonous routine from the past year. And some people might not know what they want their next trip to look like. So here are some questions that you can ask yourself to get clear on your vision for what type of experience you're looking to have on your next adventure. Think about where are areas in life where you feel stifled. So not being able to go places has surely been stifling for most of us. But what are the specific things in your life that are making you feel restricted that are maybe not pandemic related? Think about those areas in your life where you feel like you're being held back, and maybe make a list and write down the things that would make you feel a sense of freedom. Just imagine creating an itinerary around doing the things that give you that sense of freedom that you've been longing for. Now, freedom is a really big value of mine, and I am itching to create an itinerary around this idea. So my second question is, where can you be more bold? And one of my goals for 2020 was to show up more, be more visible, and just be more bold. And it's been scary at times, but the outcome has been so worth it. And I wanted to encourage you to think about how can you bring boldness to your travels? What does being bold look like to you? It could mean climbing Mount Kilimanjaro or swimming with sharks, or maybe it's simply conversing in another language with locals or going on that month-long vacation that you always dreamed about. Maybe taking that much time for yourself is a bold move for you. Whatever being bold means to you, by planning a trip around this idea, it means that you'll be pushing yourself to try new things, and inevitably you'll grow throughout that process. Now, the third question is, how can you best serve others? This pandemic has shown us that the gap between the haves and the have-nots is only widening. So think about how you can have a positive impact through your travels. Maybe it's staying at hotels that give back to their communities or support local tour guides or vendors, or it could be cleaning up trails or beaches, or maybe donating to a local charity. There are issues in every city, so spend some time to understand what they are and understand also how you can help. And those are my three questions for planning more meaningful vacations. Now, I want to talk about a few trip ideas that can have a lot of impact. So, the first trip idea is multi-generational travel. Now, I think we've all gained a new appreciation for our families and friends this past year, especially for our older loved ones. And then on the other side of that spectrum, there are probably a lot of babies that have been born that we haven't even met yet. So, bringing together generations to have time to connect and just appreciate each other is a great way to reconnect with loved ones. So, this might look like renting a house somewhere or multiple villas in a resort. That way, you can get the whole family together in one location, have an extended amount of time to spend together, but people can go off and do their different activities, but then maybe come together for meals or other planned activities. So, creating a travel bubble will be really important to making sure that this kind of travel is safe for everyone. So, another type of meaningful trip is culture trips. So, connecting to your roots or learning about another culture is a great way to add meaning to your travels. One way to connect with your roots is by doing a DNA test to find out where your ancestors are from and then plan your travels around that. And you don't even have to do a DNA test. Most of us know roughly where our family is from, and you can create a trip around maybe learning one element about your culture, such as food or maybe dance or a tradition that's unique to your culture. Now, if you want to learn about other cultures, look for community based tourism experiences. Now, community based tourism is where locals invite tourists to visit their neighborhood to explore the area, and they offer accommodations and sometimes tours. So, a great example of this is Kristen Kitchen's Bed and Breakfasts. They're located in Ohio, Miami, North Carolina, and each of her properties are in a historically significant location to the Black community, and they're designed to highlight the African American experience. She utilizes local vendors, and she also gives jobs to the local homeless population. I really like her approach to hospitality because it immerses you in another culture, and you can learn so much about an experience that may be different from your own. Now, let's talk about extended trips. With all the paid time off that many of us have accrued this past year, longer trips are now more within reach, and they're a great way to incorporate a slow travel approach, which is all about quality over quantity. By visiting one place for longer, it gives us the opportunity to become more connected to the place and soak up the local culture and perhaps even learn the language, form genuine relationships with people, and just gain a deeper understanding of the place that we're visiting. And finally, unplug travel. So just think about all of the Zoom meetings you've been on this past year, and I'm sure the idea of escaping from technology sounds really appealing. Creating a trip that allows you to completely unplug and soak in the calmness and beauty of nature is a great way to reconnect with yourself and also to nature. There are many benefits to nature bathing and having time to meditate and reflect. Now, there are many off the grid resorts, but I think renting a camper van and heading to a secluded camping spot can achieve the same goal. So, those are my suggestions for making your next trip more meaningful and creating those lasting memories. I know we have a little ways to go before it's safe to fully travel again, but I hope that these suggestions just get your juices flowing and get you to start thinking about travel in a little different way and how you can incorporate a few things to make your trips more meaningful. Now, I look forward to hearing about your trips. You can send me a DM on social media and let me know if any of these suggestions helped you. and where you plan on going next. That's it for the show. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I'm so grateful that you're here listening, and happy exploring. Hey guys, I wanted to pop in real quick and let you know about something that I'm super excited about. So, you know that I'm a podcast host, but you might not know that I also help entrepreneurs start their podcasts. And this week, I'm hosting a free workshop where I share the top 3 things that you need to start your podcast. Now, I'm super excited to be doing this live workshop. And if you want to join me, head over to the link in the show notes and you can sign up and register there. And if you know anyone who is interested in starting their podcast, then I'd love it if you shared this with them. The workshop is this Thursday at 10 a.m. It's going to be really fun. It'll be my first live event. I'm super excited. Okay, thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to the Explore a New podcast. Don't worry, we have a new episode every week. Subscribe so you don't miss it. And don't forget to visit exploreanew.com for more inspiration and tips. If you want to share the love, you're welcome to send this podcast to others. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.